In the heart of a bustling Nigerian market, where voices rose with the sun and faded only when darkness took over the sky, lived a woman known by all as Mama Mary. Her real name was Tabitha, but few remembered that anymore. To the people, she was simply the strong widow who sold the sweetest food in the market. 10 years had passed since her husband died suddenly of a stroke, leaving her alone with 2 young daughters, Mary, who was just 6 at the time, and Martha, barely 4. The pain of losing her husband had nearly broken her, but something deeper within her refused to let her fall completely. She had no choice. 2 little girls looked up to her, their future resting entirely in her hands. Mama Mary rose from grief with quiet determination. Every morning before dawn, while the world still slept, she would wake up, kneel beside her small bed, and whisper prayers into the silence. Her strength did not come from wealth, connections, or luck. It came from her unwavering faith in God and her pure heart. After her prayers, she would begin cooking. By sunrise, the aroma of her food, rich soups, well-seasoned rice, and soft swallow, would drift through the market, drawing customers like a magnet. People said there was something different about her food. It wasn't just the taste, it carried warmth, care, and something almost unexplainable. But not everyone admired her success. Directly opposite her stall was another food vendor known as Mama Angel. Where Mama Mary was calm and soft-spoken, Mama Angel was loud, harsh, and constantly bitter. From the very beginning, she saw Mama Mary not as a fellow trader, but as a rival. At first, it was just murmuring and complaints. "She is stealing my customers," Mama Angel would grumble loudly, making sure others heard. But as time passed, her jealousy grew into something darker. She began insulting Mama Mary openly. "Widow! Go and sit at home and cry for your husband," she would shout across the market. Mama Mary never responded. She would simply bow her head slightly and continue serving her customers. This silence only fueled Mama Angel's anger. One afternoon, in a fit of rage, Mama Angel carried a bucket of dirty water and poured it directly in front of Mama Mary's stall, splashing some of it onto her cooking area. The crowd gasped, expecting a confrontation. But Mama Mary did something unexpected. She quietly cleaned up the mess. No shouting. No insults. No retaliation. Her daughters, now teenagers, Mary at 16 and Martha at 14, watched these moments carefully. They often felt the urge to defend their mother, but she would always stop them. "My daughters," she would say gently, "we do not fight evil with evil. God sees everything." Yet, Mama Angel was not satisfied. Her business continued to struggle while Mama Mary's flourished. Deep inside, she knew the truth: her food simply wasn't as good, but pride would not allow her to accept it. Instead, she chose a dangerous path. One evening, after the market had closed, Mama Angel secretly visited a herbalist on the outskirts of town. The man lived in a dimly lit hut surrounded by silence and mystery. "I want her to suffer," Mama Angel said, her voice trembling with anger. "If I cannot stop her, then let her feel pain. Take one of her daughters." The herbalist looked at her carefully. "There is always a price," he warned. "I will pay anything," she replied without hesitation. The charm was prepared. She returned home with dark instructions in her heart, convinced that soon Mama Mary would finally know sorrow. But what she did not understand was this: evil does not always travel in one direction. Days passed. Mama Mary continued her life as usual, praying, cooking, serving, and raising her daughters with love and discipline. There was no fear in her home, only peace. Then, suddenly, tragedy struck. Not in Mama Mary's house, but in Mama Angel's. Her own daughter fell violently ill. What began as a mild complaint quickly turned into something severe and unexplainable. Within a short time, the girl passed away. The news spread through the market like wildfire. Mama Angel was shattered. Grief consumed her. The same pain she had wished upon another had found its way back to her. But deep within her sorrow, a terrible realization began to form. The charm had backfired. What she had sent out had returned to her own home. For days, she could not step outside. Shame, fear, and regret held her captive. When she finally gathered the courage to return to the market, she avoided everyone's eyes. But there was one person she could not avoid. Mama Mary. Their eyes met from across the stalls. Mama Angel expected anger, revenge, maybe even mockery. Instead, Mama Mary did something no one expected. She walked over. Gently. Calmly. And then she spoke. I heard about your daughter, she said softly. I am truly sorry. Mama Angel broke down immediately, tears flowing freely. I did this, she cried. I wanted to hurt you. I went to. I didn't know it would come back to me. Her voice faded into sobs. The crowd fell silent. Mama Mary stood there for a moment, then placed a hand on her shoulder. What we plant, she said quietly, is what we harvest. But God is still merciful. That day marked a turning point. Mama Angel changed. Not overnight, but gradually. She became quieter, more humble, and eventually began to rebuild her life. The bitterness that once defined her slowly faded away. As for Mama Mary, her life continued to move forward. Her daughters grew into responsible young women, shaped by their mother's strength and example. Mary and Martha would often say that the greatest lesson they learned was not how to survive hardship, but how to respond to it. Mama Mary never became rich in the worldly sense, but she became something far greater. She became a symbol. A living reminder that resilience, faith, and a pure heart can overcome even the darkest opposition.